You've probably clicked on this video and saw the title of it and thought, I don't want to live this way. I don't want to miss out on all the experiences and all the opportunities that I have when I'm young. The youth is the best time of your life and you've got to make the most of any opportunity that comes your way. Why do I know you feel like this, and why do I know you've heard the same type of advice? Well, it's because I was in the exact same position as you less than 12 months ago, so I know exactly how it feels. But we're going to be thinking and we're going to be talking about, where is your money going? Because I think I can speak for the vast majority of people watching this video that is being wasted on stuff that's not actually improving your life or getting you to exactly where you want to be in your life. Maybe for you do have bills, maybe you have kids, maybe you have some other expenditures that I'm not really considering in this type of content, and fair enough, this video is probably not the best for you, and I'm probably not the best person for you to listen to because I don't have that personal experience in my life yet. But for the vast majority of young people, I think I can safely say that your money is being wasted, and I can almost guarantee you that what you're spending your money on is not making your life any better, it's not making your life any happier, it's not making you any more fulfilled. So, as you can tell by the title of this video, Acting Broke for 3 years, I believe everyone should do this to get to where they want to be in their life, wherever it may be for you. Everyone wants different things, we understand this. I believe that this is you can build up a decent amount of wealth within 3 years to get to a stage where you want to be, where you're somewhat, maybe not fully, financially free. So if you actually listen to the advice in this video, this could honestly, it's not one of those clickbait videos, how to change your life or anything, but if you take this on board, it could honestly change your life of where you are and where you'll be in a few years. You won't have to work that job that you don't want to do if you kind of take this advice on board. I feel like a lot of people will probably know what I'm about to say and they agree with it, but they probably won't follow it anyway. But I don't know, I hope for you this can be different. So, right, let's get started and let's get into the main reasons of why I believe you should do this for 3 years to get to a stage where you can be financially free to go on and pursue what truly matters for you in your life. So the first thing and the most important thing we need to consider is you don't actually need that much money. The best way you can do this is live at home for as long as you possibly can. Being your parents hopefully are okay with that. Then you want to increase your income as much as you possibly can, whilst decreasing your expenditures as low as possible. So for me, I don't need a lot. I'm not, as we'll get onto, I'm not materialistic. You can see I'm wearing a grey t-shirt. I don't even know where it's from. It's probably like £5. I'm not into that stuff anymore. So my expenditures are quite low. I live at home. The only things I really pay for is my car, which can be quite expensive. I would recommend for you, maybe if you're living in somewhere like a city, is to probably not have a car. If you can kind of walk to a lot of places, then you will save a lot of money. But for a lot of people, probably you might need a car if you're living kind of in an area that's not too accessible to kind of a city or a town. We've got the gym, which is an essential, especially if you're on self-improvement. We should all be going to the gym. We should all have a gym membership. I think I pay about $16.99 a month or something. It's very cheap. I just go to a pure gym in my local area, which is like an off-peak membership too, which makes it even cheaper. And then other than that, pay for a bit of food. Obviously I'm living at home, so somewhat that is kind of subsidised for me. But obviously I pay for some of that stuff that I specifically want for my kind of diet. Going to the gym, I need to kind of get my own stuff. But other than that, my expenditures are very, very low, and I think you should be trying to get them down as low as you possibly can. Maybe you have some other stuff that is more difficult to kind of get down, but I really recommend if you can get monthly kind of expenditures coming out of your bank, maybe if they're direct debit, you should definitely do this, and you should do this for as long as possible. And even when you've kind of hit that point where you're like, okay, I've got good money, maybe you've even got 6 figures in the bank, then why not keep it as low as possible? Because once you kind of cut all these stuff out, like your Netflix subscription and all of this other kind of like bullshit that you kind of have that you didn't even realise you were paying for, £5-10 a month, it all adds up, and you can kind of realise once you cut this stuff out, I don't actually need this stuff in my life. I don't use it. It's not making my life better. I don't actually really enjoy using it. It's just a waste of my time, and it's actually taking me further away from where I want to be. So I think that's the biggest thing that probably a lot of people don't understand, is that you don't actually need that much money. I'm not saying obviously I don't earn any money, just live like a monk or anything like that, because I don't think that is the best way to live. But I reckon most people, as I made in my previous video, probably only need 1, 2, 3k a month really. If you're living in if you are kind of living still at home, you don't really need that much money at all. And like I say, once you kind of cut out these unnecessary expenditures, you realise you don't need that much money. It's not making your life any better. The point number 2 is we're going to talk about investing, and reinvesting is the most important thing you can do. So whether that be reinvesting in terms of stocks, shares, crypto, all of that type of stuff, you could do this, or you could decide to maybe invest in your business if that's the way you want to go down. So hopefully you'll do this for a few years, and then you reach a point where you're like, okay, my business is maybe self-sufficient now. You're generating a significant amount of income where you can go full-time on your business, or you could use this money to put in the stock market, and it's going to compound over time, maybe 7, 8, 9% a year. It's going to be good if you're putting a fair amount away. Maybe it's very difficult for me to say for you personally, because it is obviously down to how much you are earning. But I think a good kind of strategy to go down is around 80% of what you're earning should be reinvested in terms of like stock, shares, or whether it be your business, whatever you're trying to kind of route you're trying to go down. Maybe you kind of want to split it in between and have that diverse portfolio. It's up to you where you want to go down, but you want to make sure you're doing this for a reason. Obviously, yes, maybe you'll do this, you'll build up a decent amount of money where, say you save 20k a year, which I think is very realistic for anyone kind of in the UK, US, whether you get paid a decent amount if you have a part-time, full-time job, whatever it may be that you're doing. You do this for a few years, you've got say 60k invested in stocks, shares, crypto, your business, whatever it may be. That's going to compound over time as well. So you might be looking towards 70, 80k plus, and then it's up to you obviously what you want to do. But I think saving around 80% you should be doing. So say you are earning £1,000 a month, £800 is invested into whatever it may be for you. £200, you could probably live off that. Let's be honest, once we kind of get down and look at, if you showed me what you're spending your money on now, I could 100% point out a few things. I'll be like, you don't need that, you don't need that. It normally comes down to your limiting beliefs that is the reason why you still have that, or some type of addiction or something that is just programmed inside of you to think that you need that, where you really, really don't. And over myself, as I've been kind of on self-improvement and kind of realising what truly matters, what makes me happy, is you really don't need a lot. Like myself, if you are a materialistic guy, I understand where you're coming from, because that was me a few years ago. I never had anything absolutely ridiculous, but I'd buy a lot of designer clothes, and I've sold it a lot now, which has not been too bad because I've earned a lot of that money, somewhat of it back. But I know what it feels like. You're trying to impress, you're trying to fit in with people who don't even care about you anyway, which is funny. But I know what it's like, so I can relate to you guys who are maybe a bit younger than myself. Or you even see it with guys who are a lot older. They kind of just, they're not obviously happy with themselves or what they kind of stand for, what they're kind of doing in their own life. So they need kind of that validation somewhere, whether that comes through the designer clothes or whatever it may be. But I definitely think 20k a year, going back to that, is a reasonable amount. Obviously for some people maybe more, some people it's going to be a bit less, but if you can just do that for 3 years, you've got 60k absolute minimum, and that's saying if it's been stagnated, you can then, like I say, do that with put it in a business. You could go into put it on a down payment on property. You could kind of go down more of a commercial real estate route, or whatever it may be, which I prefer, going into garages, something like that, car parks, whatever it may be for you. But obviously it is very much down to where you want to go. And I think for everyone, I think it's getting to that first 6 figures is going to be where it's going to completely change your life. Obviously, I've just mentioned 60,000. But if you could keep being broke until you got to 100k, then I honestly think if you have the financial literacy, which you probably have, if you're watching this type of content and you've been broke for years, you probably are going to be okay. And I feel like that is a point where you are probably going to be set for life, to be honest, if you use that money right. Honestly, I do believe that. I feel like a lot of people will tell you need millions and millions, but 100k is a lot of money, and if you can use that money to reinvest wisely, that money is going to multiply over time, and the bigger amount it's just going to get bigger each single year. And I feel like that is a very good target for you to aim for. And any successful investor, whether they be Warren Buffett or whoever it may be, will tell you that getting to that first 6 figures is the hardest thing to do. And once you've got past that stage, then everything becomes a lot easier. Maybe you don't want to be a full-time investor or whatever it may be, but just acting broke, getting to that stage, and then you go and do whatever you may want to do. You can use that. Obviously, yes, you can't just go get this to the 6 figures and be like, okay, I'm not going to do anything, I'm going to live on a beach. Because realistically, let's be honest, you wouldn't want to do that anyway. You could go live in somewhere like Latin America. The cost of cheap is a lot less. You could live a lot better life for a lot less too. And you could then go start on your online business, work on a side hustle, build that up, get an online income. You're going to be far better off than in a country here, and you're going to be able to keep going for a lot longer over there because of the cost of living being a lot cheaper. There's abundance of options which you could go down, and it's up to you which one you want to go. Like, I'm not going to run through every single thing because it's very specific, but I'm just telling you that you need to, and you should, just act broke for 3 years or get into that 6 figures, which is obviously I think 6 figures is probably more important, but if it's 3 years and you're even earning more than 100k, it's going to be hard. It's obviously going to be very hard to save more than 100k in 3 years. But if you're very frugal, you've got a very good job, you've maybe had some inherited, then it might not be too hard. And one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you is, it's not how much you earn, it's how much you save. I'll repeat that to you one more time. It's not how much you earn, it's how much you save. Because let's be honest, save, reinvest, whatever you may want to call it. A lot of people may be earning 100k a year, maybe even more, 200k, $1 million a year, but they might be spending 90% of that. And overall, they're probably going to be a lot worse off. And it's obvious if they're spending 80-90%, their financial literacy is not very good. They've not been educated about money. They don't understand the value of it. Then they're never really going to be successful at building kind of generational wealth. It doesn't really matter too much once you get over a certain amount of how much money you have. Because once you get to that stage when you can survive and you've got that spare income, the guy who knows what he's doing with money is going to be 100% more successful, specifically in the long run when it comes to earning more money, getting that compounding and reinvesting into that. So let's look at doctors, lawyers, these jobs that a lot of the teachers, everyone will push, oh, that's such a good job, you've good money in that, there's really good money, you should go down that route. Yeah, okay, there is good money in it. Let's say 100k for a top level doctor, and this is top level, by the way. You go to an entry level job and you're probably getting 30, 40k, something like that. You've got to work your way up. It's going to take you years, you're going to be knackered. And the first point I want to make actually is you won't be making 100k. When you get to that 100k, you'll probably be taxed, if you're in the UK, up to 40%. So say you're down to 60k already. Number 2, you're probably going to be either fat, depressed, stressed, or quite frankly, all of the above. Because you're going to be working long hours, you're going to be just doing stuff that you probably don't really want to do. It's mainly going to come down to you just working all the time. That's why you're earning that kind of money, because that's kind of the life, that's what it is. It's not as glamorized as you might see in all these TikTok clips that a lot of people will try and make out to you. Number 3 is you're probably going to have shit relationships because of number 2. It's kind of a snowball effect because you're probably not very happy, you're stressed all the time. You don't have any time to see your family, your loved ones, people, your friends. You're not going to have any good relationships because you're just working all the time. And this person who is in this high level job, who everyone looks up to, he's probably not all what he seems. He's probably addicted to something. He's probably drinking, taking drugs, he's addicted to porn, something like that. There's almost certainly something that he's struggling with because he's in a job where it's not what he wants. He's working so many hours, he's doing shit that he doesn't want to do, he's not making time for stuff like the gym, his fitness, his health, his relationships, all this stuff above. So if you earn that type of money, then great, do that for a few years. But I think a lot of people watching this type of content aren't really going to be in that situation. But I hope this video has kind of helped you to kind of realise that it probably doesn't take as long as you believe, and you can do this a lot easier than you probably think. And this is a very different kind of advice to you'll probably hear from actual investors, because I'm not one myself. I would never call myself who knows it all at all. But from my experience, and this is a path that I'm going down, this is the best way to get to the kind of where you want to be. Live a life of your terms, where you can purposely decide what you want to do with your life. And like I say, this will change your life if you listen to this advice, take action from it immediately. And if you want further guidance on how to get there, my link below to work one-on-one with me will get you to the 100k, will get you to somewhat financial freedom, whatever it may be you want to do. I will help you, guide you to exactly where you want and need to, and deserve to be. And if you could like and subscribe, enjoy the rest of your day, guys.